Good morning, everybody. It's Meghan McGrogan here with the Greater Utica Chamber of Commerce, and we are wrapping up week 3 of our Leveling Up Social Distancing series. So if you're watching these as they come up and as they go live, we're actually going to take a break tomorrow. A lot of people observe Good Friday as a Catholic holiday, so we will see you back on Monday for some more guests on Leveling Up. And again, we just are really loving doing this series. This is bringing our local businesses and organizations right into your living room or your home office or wherever you are. And we really are just, again, loving the opportunity to talk to these businesses and bring their news right to you. And if maybe you've never even heard of some of them before. So this is just a great way for you to get in touch and get to know the people behind our local businesses and organizations. And again, I keep saying it, I keep alluding to the fact that I'm saying it, but I'm just really excited to have everybody on. And this is really nice for me to be able to connect with all of you as well, because we're held up here at our house. So this morning I have a great guest with me, and she is somebody that a lot of people know in our community and runs a very integral part of Utica. So I'd just like to introduce you to Andria Heath, the Executive Director of our wonderful and fabulous Utica Zoo. So Andria, thanks for being with me this morning.
Megan, thank you so much for inviting me. I was so excited to be invited on the show, and I'm thrilled to talk about the zoo. It's a different zoo today than we thought it would be. This is our peak season, especially with the weather being gorgeous. It's a little bit of, kind of like a hit in the heart here that we're having such a gorgeous April. But things at the zoo, for the animals, number one priority is that our animals are getting great care by our keepers and our facility staff. They're on site daily. They're our critical staff. And there are a few others of us that are working remotely. And so the animals are doing well.
That's great. Now, if people have never been to the zoo prior to any of this happening, tell us why our zoo is so special. Because I really, we travel, we see other zoos, and I think if you haven't been around to kind of see other facilities, you don't really get how special. I mean, our zoo is just such a great asset to our area. So tell people, if they've never been to the Utica Zoo, why they really should come check it out.
We get a lot of compliments about the urban forest setting. We're 80 acres total, and we only have about 40 acres currently cultivated. So we still have a lot of room to grow and to get new exhibits in the future. We're 106 years old. We have some really nice signature animals. We have animals that some of the other local zoos don't have. So that's kind of nice for someone who's traveling through New York State along the corridor of the Thruway, et cetera. In 2018, we were accredited with the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. So we're one of about 240 facilities in the country that are part of this association. That has been life-saving during this whole new normal for us, because we don't have to reinvent some of the wheels. We've got, a great support system.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned before we got on our call that you actually were featured in a webinar that they did yesterday, right?
Yes. So they invited zoos and aquariums around the country that had under 500 employees. And interestingly, more than 2/3 of the AZA zoos and aquariums are under 500. And the topic was how to navigate the Paycheck Protection Program and the loans with SBA. And we've applied. And they featured one zoo director in this webinar nationally, and it was ours. So I sent you the graphic that had these really cool panel members from the Small Business Association and some large U.S. bank, and then Andria Heath, Utica Zoo. And it was just great to share our experience, because right from the moment that these loans became known, our national president, Dan Ash, really emphasized the importance of personal relationships. And I mean, we just have such great lending facilities here in the Greater Mohawk Valley. I mean, whichever one any of you all use, even if it's not the ones the zoo uses, you probably can say, I can pick up the phone and call someone really important to the Utica Zoo. Mm-hmm. And we just talked about that on this national webinar.
That's so cool. And again, I think what's so special about our area is we come together in all different ways for all different things, right? Whether they be, nice things like Boilermaker Sunday, or whether they be a time of need, a nonprofit, or, a family is experiencing some type of trauma. Our area has a great way of just coming together and really rallying in times of need, whether they be for, like I said, positive things, or maybe some not so positive things that need some uplifting, kind of that camaraderie and community spirit. And I think that, this scenario is no different for Utica. I think you would agree with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And somehow AZA knows that I feel that way because that's what they invited me to talk about.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
So tell us about what the zoo is really looking like right now. So I know you're closed to visitors, but obviously you still have to keep these animals healthy and safe, which is a big responsibility. And then you guys are doing some creative stuff too to really bring the zoo into our home. So talk a little bit about the things that you're doing on social media.
Sure. So part of the need is, a lot of our expenses are remaining the same. We have all of our animal care staff, as I mentioned, and in fact, found the need to bring in a couple that are moving here. They're actually going to make their home here. One already moved and one's on his way traveling from North Dakota, because we want to make sure that our animal care staff stays full in terms of quantity. And, we're planning for what if one of our staff who is highly trained. People often get surprised that, yes, it takes not only a college education. Some of our staff, they all have, higher education, and we've had master's level staff. So there's a lot of training. You can't just pop somebody into the zoo and all of a sudden they're taking care of African lions or, California sea lions. So we're keeping our staff safe and practicing all the kinds of safety, social distancing and protective masks, et cetera. So they still have to be fed. We still have to take care of them. And those expenses are pretty hefty. Mm-hmm. It actually takes, I'll tell you this as part of the business community, it takes actually $5,000 a day, all the days of the year, to keep the zoo operating at its full potential. Now, some of our needs are diminished because we're not running our gift shop right now, et cetera. Although we are going to be doing some online sales through Student Store, Max's Student Store. So watch for that. So we certainly continue to need people to renew their memberships. We have an emergency fund on our website. And if we are someone's favorite charity, we know that there's a lot of human need. And you did allude to that, just now. But we know that people really care about animals too. And we're going to continue to take excellent care of our animals. So if folks would like to contribute to the zoo, that'd be great. About our social media, our mission is education, conservation, recreation. We want people to have fun while they're learning about how to create a better world, a long-lasting world, and how we live and commingle with animals. And so right away, we created Utica Zoo. The word kazoo came out because in our jingle, which is one of the most recognized jingles in the Greater Utica area, there's a little kazoo feature. So we have uticazoo.org/kazoo, and it's the Kids Academy. That's what the KA stands for Kids Academy Zoo. And we've been releasing new content. We actually don't have our marketing manager going to the zoo. We don't want him there. So one of our custodians, Cowboy Chris, has been actually doing the video. We found out he has amazing talent. He has a great voice for voiceover, so that when our keepers are knee-deep in you-know-what and can't actually get loose to create the videos, Cowboy Chris has been going around and getting the information from the keepers, and then he's our star right now. So we're featuring the animals. We have online activities on our website, different kinds of crafts and things to keep kids engaged. They are STEM-based, science, technology, engineering, and math, so that for at-home parents that haven't been doing homeschooling in the past, we're trying to, really create some resources and tools. And, I think these are some things that we'll continue doing. It's very, we're doing it as newly formed, and we're not professionals at doing it, but I think it's coming off pretty professionally.
I think that's so cool. And just even like the Cowboy Chris tie-in and how you've like tapped this guy's, unknown talents. And I think that's what's so really neat about this scenario. And again, I know we've talked about it on a couple of the shows here, but just the silver lining of all this is really just kind of making do with what you have, right? Like, we're all not professionals. Like, I didn't, normally I'm in a studio doing this with, Z and Todd and things happening behind the scenes. And we said, all right, well, how can we do this without being there? And, we figured out a way. You guys have figured out a way. Everybody is really kind of, tapping into this, whatever, just sense of, okay, how do I make this work? And I think that that's when you're really going to see some creative stuff happening that's not going to stop, when, I know I hate using the phrase back to normal, because I think we're just going to have a new normal. But when we have the new normal, this stuff can be incorporated, and, you can find you might be able to communicate even more with people than you did before.
Yeah, our optics, I guess it's called analytics that Mark Simon reports to us, our social media is going over the top. Last week we had one of our keepers take over our social media as like a keeper takeover. And she did a ton of footage of her day in the life of a zookeeper. And they ran this contest on Instagram of if you could identify a nose. And they had like 7 or 8 noses. I was totally stumped on the hyena. My husband and I couldn't figure it out. I thought it was one.
It was tough. I thought it was tough too.
Yeah. So, these are just some great things. And, about the new normal, one of the things that we've kind of felt has been challenging, and it is challenging, is that we're a zoo without a lot of indoor buildings. So during the winter or even during very hot weather, we don't have the kind of visitation that we really need to have. And we're looking forward to getting more buildings. But you know what? When we start to get out of our homes and people start to tentatively go back out into the community, we might be one of those places with a vast expanse of property, great walkways. You can totally stay away from people, look at the animals, take some great nature hikes up through our North Track Trail. Even our window where you get your tickets and purchase admission, it's a window. You don't even have to go inside of our gift shop. Mm-hmm. So with some great sanitizing and continued social distancing, we might be a site that people can return to get outside and enjoy. Maybe not everything will be open yet, but some of it will be.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point. I mean, you guys do have a facility that lends itself to, being outdoors and experiencing, like, I wish that there was a way for people to even get in now and do that. But like, I had Sarah Foster on last Friday, and we were talking about just the trails around here and how, just because you're stuck at home, of course you should be respectful of people walking by you and move aside and, keep that distance. But really, there's a lot you can do outdoors just to kind of explore our area and see what we have going on without having to come into contact. So I think that would be great. And I think you're hitting the nail on the head with that. I think that will probably be a reality where, people can come into the zoo, maybe be, guided in certain directions, but I think that would be great.
Yeah, and you mentioned that this weekend is Easter, so we are doing our extravaganza, but digitally. We don't want anyone coming to the zoo until we get the all clear from the officials, but we're doing our virtual extravaganza. We've always said that our egg hunt is different than everyone else's because we actually talk about, it's all about the egg. We have so many egg-producing animals, and people have been able to look at the tiniest little hummingbird egg and the largest emu and ostrich egg that we have that kids could touch. So this weekend, we're going to have all kinds of activities virtually, and new this year, we've never done this before, will be a reverse egg hunt where the kids are going to be encouraged to hide the eggs in their yard for their parents to find.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. And then the other piece about our expansive property is we just released this week, kind of a little good news. April 7th, this past Tuesday, was International Day of the North American Beaver, and it happened to be the birthday, that's why it is this day, it's the birthday of Dorothy Richards, who was this very eccentric woman in the Dolgeville area who had this property called Beaver Sprite. It's about 1,300 acres, and we have this great drone footage that we sent out to show the beauty of this property. Her home actually had a pool in it called the Y. She called it the Y. And the beavers would swim from the brook right in her yard into the house. And she raised these beavers in her house. We're not going to carry that on, but we do have her home, which it has literally woodwork and furniture that is bitten and chewed up by the beavers. Mm-hmm. She wrote a book. I have it here. We actually sell it in our gift shop. It's called Beaver Sprite, My Years Building an Animal Sanctuary. It's so funny because she spends chapters talking about the beavers. When her own husband, Al, died, he got 2 paragraphs. But there's chapters when the beavers died. But we own this now. It was donated to us. We've been working on it for over 3 years. But it's all official. We closed in November, and we were going to have this big press conference on April 7th, inviting everybody to check out Beaver Sprite for Dorothy's birthday. And of course, we couldn't do it that way, but we will. It's going to be a great conservation, just expansive property, and we're going to do all kinds of programming, et cetera. And it's only 40 minutes from the zoo's driveway, so it'll be a great adventure for people once we can all get out.
Yeah, I think that's so exciting. I remember going there as a kid. We did a field trip there, and I just remember thinking, wow, it was just so cool. And I think that's such a great compliment to the services you guys provide. And I'm so excited to see what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I think so. Everybody, if you haven't seen it, definitely go check out that drone footage because it is really beautiful. And I think that's just a great little pocket of good news in all of this, just to go check that out.
Yeah. It's been tough. It's going to continue to be tough. We are a tourist destination site. We really are finding it hard to survive right now without admission, gift shop sales, our events. I mean, people are asking us, we're all looking forward to Wine in the Wilderness and Brewfest. We haven't really made decisions externally about those yet, but we do know, I was joking with our board chair that we're probably going to have the most successful adult events that we've ever had because people are really going to be ready to get out on a beautiful summer evening if we can do it with bands and the wine and the brew and the slushies, those frozen Ashley wine slushies that everyone loves, and Saranac and all the other breweries in the area that support us. We know that it's going to be a great event when we can do it. So stay tuned.
I agree. I know we're all kind of waiting to plan things, but for right now, you can still be accessed. People can still come and visit you on Facebook and on your website. So before we wrap up, just tell everybody how they can reach you right now and what are the best ways to do that.
Best ways, social media, our Instagram and our Facebook are very vibrant. There's just new things every day, and they're going to make you laugh. And the best part is you can use, sight and sound because we record the animals making noises. We also have a 24-hour live cam. It's and that's in our cotton top tamarin exhibit. They're little tiny primates, so that's fun. And then our website, uticazoo.org. Has all kinds of things on it. And for the children's programs, really family programs, it's /Kazoo, K-A-Zoo. And we hope people will visit us online and virtually now. And then we really hope people will come and visit us when we can reopen.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, and make sure everybody you go check out the social media sites and the website. And I'm so excited. I know we've showed Peter a few of the things on the Kazoo site. So I know we're really grateful for your programming right now as well. So Andria, thank you so much for joining me, and we wish you luck as you navigate all of this. I know it's tough for you guys, but we look forward to being at the zoo and at one of your events sometime soon, hopefully.
Great. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Okay. Have a good day.
You too.